hip-hop culture grows out of a cultural continuum within the black community, where poets like Amiri Baraka, Sonia Sanchez, Hakeem Adewude, and others were challenging artistic notions about what's relevant and what's artistic and what's, aesthetically appealing. And in addition to doing that, they were also adding a very serious political element, challenging notions about whiteness and white supremacy and capitalism. And that type of spirit would remain within the black community, as well as in other communities of color in particular, into the 70s. And as you know, hip-hop begins in the early 70s. There's a difference between the hip-hop then and hip-hop now. The difference is most stark for me, or I would say the division began when hip-hop began to become commercialized. Initial hip-hop culture was not just about rap. It was about, breakdancing. It was about graffiti art. It was about just your whole approach to life, how we look at the world. Initial hip-hop was about reclaiming public space, where you had young folk growing up in inner city communities where they didn't, public space was something that was foreign to them. It was foreign space, where you're growing up living on the 20th floor of a public housing development, with 3 or 4 brothers and sisters in a 2-bedroom unit. There's not much personal space that one can have. These artists, we recognize them as artists, but they were just young folks trying to have some freedom. So they would go into the public parks and they would take their equipment and they would plug it into the lighting posts, because they recognized our parents pay taxes to keep these lights on. So that's ours. This energy is ours. So we're going to redistribute that energy in a way that allows us to express ourselves. Those first years of hip-hop's development, was truly a communal effort. I see it as folk art, It's people getting together, sharing their stories, talking about their reality to each other, affirming their humanity, Hip-hop later, hip-hop that we see today, has been gutted of anything that resembles what hip-hop was once about. You have corporations now that determine what hip-hop is. And young folk who grow up in that and don't have that history, just believe, okay, well this is real rap. No. What you're getting is a commercial product. Real rap is what comes from the hearts and minds and souls of people who don't have any relationship to the corporate sector. 90% of the CEOs in this country are white men. 90% of the government officials in this country are white men. You see? Who runs the record industry? White men. Who runs the rap industry? White men. Who decides that the images that are going to be perpetuated of black youth in hip-hop culture are going to be negative images? In my book, Misogyny MC, I take issue with the rappers. I don't let them off the hook for their involvement in this system. At the same time, I'm fully aware, and I discuss the fact, the people calling the shots are not those rappers. People calling those shots are these cats who run Time Warner, who run Columbia Records, who run Sony Records, who run Arista Records, and they don't look like me. That's why you gotta understand racism, you gotta understand sexism, you gotta understand the system of capitalism in order to understand what is happening in hip-hop culture.
It's still bigger than hip-hop, 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 hip. It's bigger than hip-hop, 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 hip-hop.
One thing about music, when it's real, they get scared. Got a slave for the welfare. Ain't no food, clothes, or healthcare. I'm down for guerrilla warfare. All my niggas put your guns in the air. If you really don't care, skunk in the air. Make a nigga wanna buck in the air from a bum locked up in the jump in the year. Shit is real out here, don't believe these videos. This fake ass industry, gotta pay to get a song on the radio. Really though, DP's gon' let you know it's just a game of pimps and hoes, and it's all about who you know, not who we are.